Hey, so I'm not sure if it matters to you or not, but did you know we are very close to being a zero waste company? You don't believe me? Listen up. So it's impossible or nearly impossible to be completely zero waste, but we are well below 20% because we just repurpose our cutoffs or our scrap wood. So I'm going to show you an example using this piece of white oak. So if we were to try to make this into a dimensional piece of lumber to sell to our customers as 3 inches wide, it might be hard to see on camera, but there is no space between this wood that is consistently 3 inches wide without having some sort of check or a crack in it. So instead of just tossing this into the waste, we repurpose it. For example, our pin blanks are only 3/4 of an inch wide. Well, there are multiple areas in this board that are more than 3/4 of an inch wide with no cracks, so this could become a pin blank. It could also become knife scales. They're only 1.5 inches wide. If this was a little bit longer, we could turn it into cutting board strips. This is over 1 inch thick, so we can plane that down, mill it down to get to what we need. Here's another example. This is a piece of cherry. This is not tall enough to be a full bowl blank that is 8 by 8 inches. So we could repurpose this and make it maybe a 6 by 6 inch bowl blank. Well, then there's this 2 inches of waste over here. Again, not waste. We can chop all that up, so to speak, and turn it into pin blanks or knife scales. Same thing with our cutting board strips. This was going to be a final piece of American dark walnut cutting board strip. And then we noticed that there's a huge crack in the end grain. So that end can get chopped off. It's no longer long enough to be a cutting board strip, but it's plenty long enough to maybe turn into 2 sets of knife scales. The list goes on and on. Dimensional blanks, if this was too short to be 16 inches and you ordered 16 inches, we would get you a different one, and this would be turned into knife scales or cutting board strips or whatever. This is too short to be cutting board strips, but it could be multiple pin blanks, knife scales. Same with little skinny pieces that get cut off of a bigger board, let's say. That's not 1.5 inches. So pretty much this will not work for a cutting board strip, a knife scale, or anything like that, but it will work for several pin blanks. We're in the process of finding a way to productively use our sawdust, our shavings, because those are probably the biggest waste that we have, because again, we're milling a lot of lumber. In the process of figuring out something to do with that, to be creative rather than just seeing it go to waste. If you have any ideas, let me know, shoot me a message, or leave a comment.